So after Go Fest, which is one of Pokemon Go's biggest events of the year, there was a certain terms of service agreement that was basically upheld and everyone had to accept it, and a lot of the majority of the Pokemon Go community decided to just accept it. And while I was on Discord just looking up for some trades to do online, I noticed that there was a little bit of uproar in the basically the Pokemon Go general chat, and they were kind of worried about the terms of service that was just implemented not that long ago. And shout out to Count Jinsula. I actually watched his video, and this is the video that talks about the terms of service and what actually was implemented. He basically goes over a summarized detail of the terms of service and basically talks about why this new terms of service is just ludicrous and it's just insane. But I'm not surprised because it's Niantic, and Pokemon and Niantic are like the interesting relationship in the family, and you never know what they'll be doing behind our backs. But before we get right into the summary, please like and subscribe. That is the best way to support me for free. We're still trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, so I appreciate if you guys smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. So now let's go over the summary in terms of service. Shout out to Reddit. Reddit actually provided, uh, basically, I think this is the exact same summary list that we saw in Count Jinsula's video. So again, shout outs to whoever is the originator of this source. So basically, without going into crazy amount of details in the actual term of service, I had to read it myself just to see if this was actually any some sort of validation, and I can attest that there is validation behind this summary. So there is concept proof and all that stuff. So basically, this is what Niantic is trying to do. Your account can be terminated at any time without notice if you breach the terms. I guess that's pretty standard. If you are breaking terms of service, aka spoofing or doing weird stuff in your game, they can ban you without any given notice, so that makes sense. You waive your right to participate in a class action lawsuit or class wide arbitration. Now, this is kind of weird because, grammar and verbiage within a legal standpoint really matters the most. And the fact that it says you waive instead of you can waive your right, oh my god. Already in point 2 and we're not in a good place right now. No refunds for virtual goods or virtual money once purchased. I guess so. Basically, all sales are final kind of stuff. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I ever had any issues buying stuff in Pokemon Go. I know certain people might have it if they have an outdated, iOS or outdated Android system used to buy stuff. Because I know at certain points, if Pokemon Go keeps getting updated, like the older phones just cannot run it anymore. So just make sure your stuff is up to date and your actual, you know, purchase information is good. Niantic can employ mechanisms to detect and respond to cheating, including checking your device for unauthorized software. I mean, they need to have an actual reason why you're cheating because there are certain times where your game might spawn you into different locations and just all of a sudden spawn you back home and it wasn't in your control. It might have been just a system glitch or some GPS just going haywire. Sometimes it happens, but I don't think it's cheating. But this is kind of like it almost reminds me of like breaking into your house without a search warrant kind of thing. I do think they should have the right to check your device if you actually have any reasonable suspicion of cheating, but I think it's somewhat fair that they can do it. I don't know. I mean, this is Niantic we're talking about. We don't know how powerful these companies are nowadays. So there's that. Niantic is not liable for any damages or losses resulting from the use of the services. Okay. I mean, that's typical kind of verbiage you can see in a lot of places, like in parking lots or in stadiums. They always tell you, hey, we're not responsible for your stuff if it gets stolen or damaged once you're on our property. It's like they don't want to take responsibility. Basically, what I'm reading so far is that Niantic doesn't want to be responsible for your shit, and you cannot sue them for that kind of shit. So there you have it. Let's see. Niantic can change or remove virtual money or virtual goods at any time without liability. I wonder why they would do that. Because Poké Dollars, I mean, are you manipulating Poké? Can you even manipulate Poké Dollars in this game? I don't think you can, and I don't think there is a way to do it unless you're buying stuff, but I guess they just want to keep their money in their pockets. Niantic can use their data for event features and may share it with third parties. This is starting to become something that a lot of companies are going to do. Like, I don't know if Niantic is doing, I mean, let's be honest. Every single company that requires you to access your personal information, whether it's your first name or last name, email, address, whatever, there's a really good chance that companies are just selling it to third party companies for money. That's that's unfortunately that is the reality of today's modern technological era. A lot of companies are just going to sell your information for money. It's just that simple. And I really don't like Niantic straight up blatantly saying, "Oh yeah, we could do that. We may do that." And just saying that is just in your face is just kind of crazy. But hey, play our game. Niantic can refuse admission or remove you from events without refund. Okay. I mean, if you're cheating your way into an event, that's the only logical reasoning I can see it. But other than that, like, I don't know. Oh, I think it actually was supposed to be refund without refund for your I don't know, device without authorization. Okay, I guess basically if you're using, let's say you're spoofing your way into a Pokemon Go Fest that requires your ticket and they suspect that you are cheating, then essentially they can just kick you out, which I guess that makes sense. Niantic is not liable for any damage or losses resulting from the use of the services. Or we already talked about that. Oh, it's right here. This is just a continuation of the previous points. Niantic can refuse admission or remove you from events without refund for non-compliance with terms or misconduct. Okay, that makes sense. Niantic can use your likeness and data for promotional purposes without compensation. Again, this is basically, hey, we can sell your shit and you ain't gonna get paid for it because it's gonna hurt our pockets if we pay every single person out there. That's cool. So for those of you who pose for the GoFest 2024 and you expect to get paid, good luck. Niantic is not. It's just gonna give you the middle finger and move on. Niantic is not responsible for third-party websites or sources linked through the services. So that means they're just gonna give more power to third-party websites, aka we can steal your shit. You assume all risk associated with attending or participating in events. I mean, if you are actually physically at the events, that makes sense because they're not going to provide security. You are responsible. And I feel like personally, since the inception of Pokemon Go, there's been a lot of issues with players going into shady locations and not being spatially aware of their surroundings, and shit could happen. I've seen it before. Obviously for me, I've been playing Pokemon Go since its inception, and I'm always very careful where I'm at. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into a dark alley just to catch a fucking Pokemon. But in obviously, if I see someone, going to shady areas, be like, hey, bro, I don't think you should go there because there's a history of that place or that place doesn't have a good reputation. So just keep an eye out on your fellow Pokemon goers. Niantic can change event features or cancel events without compensation. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this has already happened before. I don't recall what event happened, but there's plenty of instances where, for example, the Mega Rayquaza event that just happened, the Elite Raids, which I think Elite Raids are just a dumb freaking way to bring exclusivity into a game is just absurd. But they can basically change or cancel events. Luckily, Niantic is known for doing makeup events when they clearly see there's been some sort of error going on with their game. So I'm kind of glad they can see it on that perspective. But to see this and say, you paid for all these events, you paid your flight, you paid your hotel, and you go to, let's say, you're flying all the way to Pokemon Go Fest in New York, and they decide, you know what, we're going to cancel your event. You paid for the ticket too. Oh boy. Okay. Cool. Niantic can employ security measures or searches at events, and refusal may result in denied entry. Okay, I mean, basically, just making sure the community is playing safely. I guess that's fine. I mean, refusal of entry, that's very common in business practices, like nightclubs. That's a pretty good example. Like, if they see that you're suspicious of something, they can just deny you straight up. Or even in stadiums, sports arenas, like, they can definitely do that. I mean, I wouldn't call Pokemon Go on the level of like an NBA level stadium, but that's just me. Niantic can terminate inactive accounts after a period of inactivity. I guess. I mean, but what happens to the Pokemon Go players that have been playing for 5 years and decide to stop playing because maybe they're just busy with life and they log in about a year later and they decide to, get themselves banned? Like, what? That's kind of crazy. But overall, I'm not really a fan of the terms of service because basically the whole point of this is just to say Niantic can do whatever they want with your information. They're not going to compensate you for anything because at the end of the day, they don't want their pockets to be hurting. And last but not least, they can pretty much straight up deny you playing this game because you are doing some weird stuff with cheating, which I guess I'm okay with that. I just don't like the way that they can just go into your phone and be like, "Hey, we see that you're cheating. Like, get the hell out of here!" Without any, it's basically breaking and entering without a search warrant. But you know what? That's just me. But am I surprised about all this? No, because if you guys have been aware of a lot of stuff that's been happening, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence and the way companies are now just trying to access our daily life and personal information, I'm not surprised at all. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I live in the United States, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just know that this is the reality. This isn't something that could be theorized because you can see it in real life. Like, you gotta accept the terms of service wherever you go, whatever game you play, and obviously Niantic doesn't care, Pokemon doesn't care, and truth be told, the third-party companies that want to buy your personal information, they don't care because they want to put some ads in our phone or something. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Any of you guys who play Pokemon Go, do you guys care about this? Personally, I only care because one, it was brought up, and I think it's very important to once in a while bring us back down to reality and see what's going on in our world today, especially when we play GPS location based games like Pokemon Go. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It's your boy Franklin signing out. Peace.